and welcome, dear viewers. Presenting you the latest domestic and international news. Live from the quarters of Asmara is me, Hermela Girmay, inviting you to join us in our tonight's news broadcast. Let's start with the major headlines. Training on documentation and research of intangible cultural heritage. Monetary contribution to National War Disabled Veterans Association Ansaba region. Deadly Israel siege of northern Gaza as Hezbollah returns fire. Biden urges allies to stand by Ukraine ahead of US election. On our domestic news, the Culture and Sport Department in the Gashbarka region, in collaboration with the Commission of Culture and Sports, provided training focusing on the documentation and research of intangible cultural heritage. The training was attended by employees from various institutions. Mr. Idris Saleh, Director General of Culture and Sports in the region, said that the Gashbarka region is rich in intangible cultural heritage, some of which has been documented through research, while other aspects remain untapped. Mr. Idris further noted that the effort to identify and document intangible cultural heritage is registering commendable results and that the training will significantly contribute to expediting the process. According to briefings provided by experts in research and documentation of intangible cultural heritage, an awareness-raising program has been conducted in 4 subzones in the region with the aim of developing public understanding. A representative of trainees said that the training will significantly contribute to the trainees' basic understanding of research and documentation of intangible cultural heritage and called for its sustainability. Ambassador Mahmoud Ali Hiroi, governor of the region, said that the preservation of intangible cultural heritage and other resources should not be left to specific institutions and called for conducting community-based surveys and research. He also called for strengthening the ongoing initiative by including experts in the field. Mr. Jamal Tayyib and his wife, Almaz Amanel, residents of Washington, D.C., USA, have contributed 41,000 nakfa to support the National Association of Eritrean War Disabled Veterans branch in Ansaba region on 17 October. At the handing out event, Ambassador Abdullah Musa, governor of the region, and Mr. Rezana Araya, administrator of Current City, took part. It was noted that the support was generated from an income collected at a children's entertainment program organized at Current Stadium. Commending the support extended, Mr. Shimwala Weldegirgis, chairman of the association branch, called on others to follow this noble initiative. Mr. Rezana, praising the objective of the program, expressed readiness to encourage others to organize similar programs. Ambassador Abdullah said that supporting war-disabled veterans is one of the noble cultural values of the Eritrean people and called for the sustainability of similar programs. In other news, Mr. Rezana Araya, administrator of Current City, conducted a meeting with residents of 8 administrative areas from 11 to 20 October, focusing on development programs and social services. Noting that last year, commendable water and soil conservation and afforestation activities have been conducted, Mr. Rezana said that efforts to control the prevalence of diseases are bearing commendable results. The participants conducted extensive decisions on the issues that were raised in the meetings and adopted various documentations. Dear viewers, we will come back for the international news. Stay tuned. Israel is pushing Palestinians in northern Gaza to certain deaths in its deadly offensive and siege on the area, the Palestinian Authority's foreign minister says. It said in its statement that the occupation army is forcing residents of northern Gaza to either flee under bombardment or face killing into what resembles a circle of certain deaths. Genocide is unfolding in northern Gaza in its clearest form, in full view of the world, marked by siege, starvation, forced displacement, destruction of buildings, aerial bombardment, targeting of health centers, and mass killings. The failure of the international community to stop this war of extermination has emboldened Israel to continue its deadly campaign, the ministry added. United States President Joe Biden has called on NATO allies to sustain our support for Ukraine during a visit to Berlin ahead of U.S. elections next month that could disrupt military support for Kyiv. Biden's one-day visit to the German capital last Friday saw him meet Chancellor Olaf Scholz before they held a four-way talks with French President Emmanuel Macron and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, with much of the discussion focused on how to end the fighting in Ukraine as Russian forces advance in the east. "We are headed into a very difficult winter. We cannot let up," said Biden on what could be his last presidential trip to Europe, with Kyiv and its allies fearing the potential re-election of Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, who has opposed the level of U.S. military support for Ukraine. However, in what was likely a blow to Kyiv, the U.S. president said the talks had yielded no consensus for providing Ukraine with long-range weapons that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been requesting from Western nations for months. Washington and London have rejected Ukrainian requests for clearance to use donated long-range weapons against targets inside Russia, while Berlin has refused to send its own long-range Taurus missile system. And now, a recap of tonight's news headlines. Training on documentation and research of intangible cultural heritage. Monetary contribution to National War Disabled Veterans Association Ansaba region. Deadly Israel siege of northern Gaza as Hezbollah returns fire. Biden urges allies to stand by Ukraine ahead of U.S. election. Dear viewers, that was all for tonight. Thank you for watching.